All right. Good evening.
Good evening, everybody. Welcome to our August speaker series, and we have quite an event for you tonight. My name is Sue Weldon. I'm the founder and CEO of Unite for Her, and
I'm Erin Pellegrin, Director of Culinary Nutrition, part of our amazing dietitian team. And we are so excited to bring you some really amazing speakers. Frankly, they do have their own shows, but we're really excited to have them with us this evening to get some updates and some fun information shared about clinical trials, how you can get involved, the importance of it, and frankly, just learn more about some incredible work that these women and their organization are doing. Oh, Cynthia, I knew you'd be on.
Well, I'll tell you, this isn't the first time we've had, our friends from Touch BBCA on. So it's 1 year later, I feel like, and now we're going to be able to see all of their just updates and their successes and their next steps. And, I'm always listening and understanding all that they're doing, and their best cheerleader for sure at Unite for Her. So, all right, Erin, what do you think? Let's see if we can thank our sponsors. We'll start there and then we'll move on. Yeah.
Absolutely. And we could not bring you these continued digital education events without the help of our sponsors. They are behind us every step of the way. So we want to give a big thanks to our presenting sponsor, West Pharmaceutical, with additional support from Daiichi Sankyo, Lilly, Merck, and GSK for being so supportive of our education initiatives. And we have several coming to you this month alone. So be sure to be on the lookout for our newsletter and on social media about the upcoming events to take us through August.
Yeah, beautiful. And of course, everybody, you know the drill on Zoom, right? So make sure you mute yourself. If you have any trouble locating that mute button, we will help you. No problem. We're going to jump right in so that way you can do some Q&A and have time for questions both during the event and after the event. Feel free to raise your hand, right? Call out. Erin and I will be monitoring. Look at the chat. And of course, this is always recorded for tonight's presentation. So you can find it at any time. I know we always have people emailing us, Erin, and saying, when is the recording going to be up? And we always get them up the next day.
Absolutely.
Yeah. And then Erin, how about August? We have a lot going on in August. We've already done 2.
I know. And it's
First
just
week.
the first week of August. I know. And we've got 2 more events coming to you, and they are physical therapy focused. So we're wrapping up August, really looking at the body and tapping into some experts that can help you through that. So we have a second speaker series coming to you on Thursday, August 17th. So beginning at the same time, 6 p.m. Eastern time. And we'll be joined by Kinetic PT for Cancer and Physical Therapy, a balancing act. So their team of 2 physical therapists will discuss the aspects of cancer and its treatment that can make a patient feel unsteady and strategies for improving balance and reducing fall risk. We know that the issues that come along with that increased fall risk, and we certainly want all of you to be safe. So they will be not only touching on it, but demonstrating as well. And then we're wrapping up with our Ask the Experts at the end of the month, bringing back our friends from Revital Cancer Rehab Therapy. And it's a follow-up to our peripheral neuropathy speaker series that we did. So we'll have a physical therapy with us answering your common questions about peripheral neuropathy, what causes it, and what you can do about it. So again, certainly be on the lookout for our newsletter and social media for both of those events coming to you later this month.
Awesome, Erin. Thank you. All right. So tonight, we are so pleased to announce that we have the co-founders of Touch, the Black Breast Cancer Alliance, Ricki Fairley and Valerie Worthy. For those of you that are unfamiliar with the work that they do, their mission with the When We Trial movement is to increase the number of Black women enrolled in clinical trials. Their work is extraordinary, and we have been watching them for a couple years now, and you will shortly see why. They are no stranger to Unite for Her. They were the first call I made when we went across the nation. I knew I would have this trust and support, and oh gosh, it's just been an incredible partnership, and we could not be more grateful. And to add to all of that, we have the pleasure of announcing for the first time publicly that the team of Touch has been named our Unite for Her 2024 Community Partner Award winner in recognition for all of their outstanding commitment, collaboration, tireless efforts in supporting our community as we linked arms to bridge the gap in the health equity space for Black breast cancer. So, Erin, let's bring on these dynamic women and share their impressive bios.
Absolutely. We are so excited to have both Ricki and Valerie in our network. So a little bit about our two speakers this evening. Ricki Fairley, as a stage 3A triple negative breast cancer survivor thriver, her purpose, passion, mission, ministry, and blessing is to bring focus, attention, research, and action to eradicating Black breast cancer and supporting and coaching what she calls her breasties through their breast cancer experience. In addition to Touch, Ricki also founded and serves as co-host for The Doctor Is In, a weekly live web series on blackdoctor.org on their Facebook page. And then we have Valerie Worthy. She is a 23-year breast cancer survivor and has been a registered nurse for more than 40 years. Valerie is currently the patient navigator manager at Duke Cancer Institute. In addition to working at Duke, Valerie works locally and nationally, raising breast cancer awareness around early detection and clinical trials. Please join me in welcoming our guests this evening, Ricki and Valerie. Thank you so much for being here.
Woohoo!
Thank you so much for having us. We're so excited, and thank you for the award. I don't think we've ever gotten an organization award, right?
No, I know. We're gonna have a fun year. We're gonna have a fun year. Yep.
I know.
Yes.
Is there a dance party?
So
Is there a dance party somewhere? Is there a dance?
Oh
party?
yeah. Oh yeah. Harvest.
Love
November 9th. And we are hoping to get Jelly Roll, which is our band that we're hoping to get. Fingers crossed. So
I love it. I love it. So we're so happy to be here and talk about our work. But I thought it would be really cool. And Val, Heaven, and I haven't really prepared for this as usual, right? Just go places and wing it. But
you do.
I think we should tell our origin story. What do you think?
Yep, I love it. Absolutely.
You go. You tell it. You tell it, Val.
You want me to start? Okay. And you just fill in the blanks. So Ricki and I think we were just destined to meet. That's all I can say about us. And so Ricki was working in an organization and I was a part of that organization. And we were getting a little frustrated because all our dreams weren't coming to reality. So we were on the phone one night and I said, Ricki, if you had your own 501c3, what would you do? And honestly, you guys, she laid out just the best plan that anybody could lay out. And so I said to her, I have this 501c3 that it's been kind of like on my shelf. One member of another organization I was leading, she passed away of triple negative disease. And I don't even think she knew that she had triple negative disease, but I was on her board. And I fought like heck not for them to dissolve it because I knew in Wanda's heart that she wanted this thing to grow. So I said, Ricki, I can't help you right now, but look, I'll give this to you and you do what you can. And when I can help, I will. And look at where we are now. And Ricki has taken it to heights and we just make a wonderful pair. And I'm just so excited about all the work that we've done and all the work that we're going to do in saving lives. That's really what our goal is, to save lives.
And the organization was called Touch Therapy because she was a masseuse and wanted to give massages to metastatic breast cancer patients. Mm-hmm. So that's how her name is Touch. Isn't that so cool? Well, I love you so much, Val. Like she literally said, I'm going to give you this gift. And I was like, it was a gift because it probably would have taken at least a year to get a 501c3 status in Maryland where I live. And so we could immediately go to work. And and we have like a great history. So we actually have a fund within our fundraising just for Wanda. We call it the Wanda Fund. And so whenever we get individual donations, we put it into that fund so we can help women out. And we don't have a lot of money. We hope to grow that more, but that's when we get the call like, can you pay for my mammogram? Can you pay for my MRI? Can you get me a ride to chemo? And that's what we use for that money. So we call it our Wanda Fund. So she's still part of our lives. So that's where we started. So we immediately went to work and, it was during COVID. So it started, Dr. Mo and I started Doctors In because women started calling us saying, I'm not going to go to chemo. I'm afraid to go to the hospital. I'm not going to go to get my treatment. We're like, no, you have to go. Like, we didn't know what COVID was, but you can't skip your treatment. You can't skip. And so we sort of built this audience because we were trying to convince women to do the right thing for their health. And so as we dug into this work, I'm looking around, I'm like, how come Black women are dying? I don't want anybody to die of breast cancer, but when If you think about it, for every 100 white women who die of breast cancer, 141 Black women die. That's crazy. That's crazy, right? And the stat I hate the worst is that Black women under 35 get breast cancer at twice the rate and die at 3 times the rate, well before they would have their first mammogram at age 40. And when you start to look around, none of the treatments or the screening or any of the things that are in place as standard of care work for Black women. And we really need better science and better, we have now a growing body of research that's validating that a Black breast cancer cell looks different from a white one. So the drugs aren't working for us, the screening's not working for us. And so we have to fix it. And so we said, how can we fix it? So I started talking to all of our pharma partners, thank God for them. And they've been such a blessing to us, and saying, you guys, your baby's ugly. Like, what's going on? And I was very forthright and not shy about saying, your drugs are not working for Black women. So what are you going to do about it? And they've, thank you God, have given us a seat at this table where I yell at them a lot, but they've opened their arms to us and they're listening to us. And so they're helping us fund this work that, we've got to get more Black women into research, into clinical trials. The only way we're going to get different drugs or better treatments is to have them tested on Black bodies. So we launched When We Trial a year ago. And, I think we should start with our video, right? Can we show our video? And that kind of paints the picture of what it is.
I love
and
it.
And that'll be a good snapshot of what it is.
What a force, Ricki. I mean, the three of you, or the two of you, it's been 3 years, right? Has it just been 3 years, your anniversary?
Yes.
Oh, what a force. What a force.
And we have been crazy. Of course, I can never find the video when. Here we go.
Not a problem.
Got it. But no, we knew that we had to do this work, and we knew that there had to be a better way to get to where, to help Black women.
Yeah.
So 1 second.
And I love this video because we get the opportunity to show it wherever we are. So every church, at least I know African-American churches in October, they do a pink Sunday where everybody dresses up in pink, even the men dress up. And so I've had opportunity to be able to show our videos, even in churches, and people start asking questions about clinical trials, which I think is fantastic. So this video has gone places where we're not able to go. So I really love that. Yeah.
Can everybody see that?
We can. Yep. But no sound though yet, Ricki. Right?
It's coming, yeah.
Okay, perfect.
When we trial, we make a difference in breast cancer research.
When we trial, we save Black lives.
When we trial, we defy the odds. When we trial, we do it for our sisters.
When we trial, we do it for our daughters and our sons.
When we trial, we set a new standard of care.
I was diagnosed with metastatic breast cancer.
I was diagnosed with triple-negative breast cancer at 19 years old.
I was diagnosed with metastatic breast cancer at 38.
All you hear is cancer, cancer, cancer. You never think about what the doctor's saying.
Then the doctor looked at me and he said, "Did you hear what I said?" And I said, "Yeah, but I don't know how to be a breast cancer patient."
The numbers for Black women are devastating. Black women have a 41% higher mortality rate than white women. Black women have a 39% higher recurrence rate than white women. Black women get triple-negative breast cancer, the worst one, at 3 times the rate of white women. So we're getting breast cancer younger at later stages and earlier ages, and it's just devastating. It's unacceptable.
I know my grandma had it and she beat it, and so I just knew that that was gonna be me as well.
So I think then my fight started, was when I realized, okay, I'm up for the fight for my life. So she said, well, I got this good clinical trial. You can go on it as a second phase. And she said, I think it'll work for you. But the first thing I asked her was like, am I gonna be a guinea pig? Because of our, history with the Black culture.
Over the years, clinical trials for many African Americans have been hocus pocus. So, we know about Tuskegee and Henrietta Lacks.
Clinical trial is no longer a dirty word. It is, it's a halo opportunity. It's a message from God. It's an opportunity for you to live past this moment.
But we need to get more African Americans into clinical trials because we are dying at alarming rates and we have to stop this. We really do.
And right now, there's only a 3% participation rate in clinical trials. And so even the drugs that we're making now, there's no Black bodies being tested. As we built When We Trial, we tried really hard to make it for breasties, by breasties, about breasties, so people could see themselves in what we're doing.
Clinical trials are important. This is top-notch research that we need to have as a Black community.
It's like a butterfly effect. We all got to help each other out in one way to get to the ultimate end goal.
And I think the onus is on us that are cancer survivors to tell the story. And the least that we could do is be on a trial. But how about for your children? And for your children's children? We got to do this thing. We got to save lives. It's just that important.
I'm all choked up. So beautiful, so powerful.
So we have so many more. If you go to our site, whenwetrial.org, we have a whole video gallery now, and we keep making more, but we're finding that the videos, to Val's point earlier, speak for themselves. And so we can now send them out to people and not have to even be.
Hey, Mo.
Uh-oh.
Hey, Ricki,
Sorry,
how you doing? Good. The doctor is in.
I don't have
Yes,
that.
we are. And, you know, it's
I think YouTube stayed on, sorry. But no, we know that they're working to convince people. And so we've combined our videos and a lot of, hits on our website to going into the world. Mm-hmm. And so we've probably done now, oh my gosh, 100 events since last year. I know during the month of March, I slept in my bed 3 times. So we've been on the road, and our mission is really to go where Black women live, work, play, pray, and slay. And we're going not to health events, but to events where we can catch people off guard. Val has done so many events at churches and in North Carolina, but we've done events all over the country where we know Black women are gathering to do other things. Like we've gone to the Links Convention, to Jack and Jill, to pretty much all the Black organizations, to the sororities and to really everywhere. We went to Essence Festival. We went to Martha's Vineyard last year, where all the bougie Black people hang out during the end of August. I'm going there next week for an event that we're doing, but we went to a Black women's tech event. So we're going out and we're trying to find young women, because we know that when we can talk to them and explain that there is no sugar pill in cancer research, that explain what standard of care is, explain what a clinical trial is, and with words they can spell from the voice of a breastie, they hear us. And people want to blame the reason why Black women don't participate because of all the mistrust, like Henrietta Lacks and syphilis. And all those things are out there in a cloud somewhere, but that is not the reason. The reason is doctors don't invite them. Right. Doctors don't invite them. They don't talk about it with them, and they just don't understand the science. And so we break it down in simple terms, like, that Advil you got, and this was Val's idea. She's really talk about Advil. That Advil you had was in a clinical trial. That heart medicine I give Harper is in a clinical trial. And when you say those words from our voices and other breasties, sign me up. I don't want to die. I want to do this. I'll participate. I want to do it for my daughter. I don't want this disease to stay around for my kids in the next generation. And so we're getting traction about that. And we just keep talking and keep talking and keep talking. But Val, we're getting us 2 interns, one for you, one for me. We've had an HBCU internship program for now the whole time we've been around, and we've had 55 young women pre-med, pre-health careers. And so we give them, they do a lot of social media for us, but Val really needs an intern, which we'll talk about why in a minute. But I want an intern who can do the math for me. So if right now we have 3% participation in clinical trials, how many women do we need to sign up for trials to make it 50%? So I want to hire a statistician or a really smart college student to figure that math out for me. So far, as of last week, we've now signed up 11,288 Black women for clinical trial portals.
Yes.
So, which
Incredible.
we're really proud of that. And it's a good number, but it's not good enough. But we know that we're making a difference and we're getting people to talk about it and to bring it up. But our data even shows that even when the patients bring up a conversation with their doctor, they still walk away feeling ill-equipped to make a decision. Or they go home to their moms and say, oh, you're going to get the sugar pill and die. And they have to defend themselves and what they want to do. And so we have to make it better. And so that's a lot of the work that we do, or teaching breasties to say, hold on, doctor, take your hand off the doorknob. I'm not done with you yet. I need these questions answered, and teaching them how to advocate for themselves and ask for the trials and ask for the explanations they deserve. And so that's a lot of what we do on the road, is talk about, how to stand up for yourself and how to make a difference,
Self-advocate, right?
Yeah.
And I
Yeah.
was going to say, Cynthia brought up a good question. She asked about clinical trials for other cancers, ovarian, cervical, endometrial. So the tips that you share are things that any
Yeah.
patient can take with
Correct.
them,
Oh, yeah.
depending on
Yeah.
their diagnosis. So this is something that is applicable to so many people.
It really is. Really, any cancer. If you think about it, most drugs are tested on 50-year-old white men.
Right. And so when
Most drugs.
people when they found out about that, they're appalled. And so I said, so maybe the 2 Tylenol we take for every 4 hours, maybe we need one every 6 hours, but we don't know because we're not represented. And you would be surprised to see the people that are gathered around our tables. When we talk simply about Advil, Tylenol, people have no idea that all of these drugs went through a clinical trial. So I think when we normalize things, and so that people can identify with the Tylenol and the Advil, yeah, now it makes sense. And now people really do want to be a part of what is normal culture, taking medication. So I think it's been really helpful for us, don't you think, Ricki? Just to
Just to have a simple conversation. I mean, if you Google clinical trials, and we Google it a lot just to see what people are seeing on the internet, it's frightening. First of all, they can't even spell half the words they see. And when Black women can't spell a word, you lost them, because pride comes as a factor then, and they're like, they don't want to feel stupid, so they just shut it out.
Yeah.
And we find that if we just break it down in simple words that they can understand, but add this voice of trust, a voice of a breastie like Sheila and Ari on the video, and they can say, I did this, I'm doing this, and I'm alive, then that really, really helps the conversation happen. And it's really just normalizing it. It's just making it something that, and frankly, you need to know what a clinical trial is before someone in your family needs one. This should be taught in high school. And that's why we're teaching young women and going on campuses. And that's how we did the event with you, Sue, with your gymnastics kids. Haley came and talked to them. And so we're trying to educate young. And I also believe that, Black families were horrible at talking about health. Nobody talks about health until Uncle Pookie gets his leg amputated, or Grandma Edith is in hospice. We'll have that happen. And so we're trying to bring these conversations into Black households. I met this woman at the SHARE conference like a month ago, a couple weeks ago. She had triple negative, stage 3. She was probably, I think, 38 or 39. And she didn't find out, they didn't talk about it till she was sick, that her mom and her mom's 2 sisters all had triple negative breast cancer. And none of them knew it. None of them. They didn't talk to each other until the daughter gets sick. And then it all came out. And they, well, you had it too. Well, you crazy. But that's what happens in our families a lot of times. Or you'll think, even in my family, my mother's aunt had breast cancer, but she was 9 at the time. She died at age 42, her aunt. My grandmother never talked about it. And we didn't really find out about it until I went to visit my mother's aunt, another aunt on the other side of the family, who was 104. And I went to visit her right before she died. And so, Ricki, your Aunt Louise had breast cancer. And my mother didn't remember that because my grandmother didn't talk about it with her. And so that's what's happened. So we know that these secrets that our families are keeping are killing us. And though I don't have a genetic mutation, I have a family history that's affecting Haley and Amanda. You know, my mom's aunt, my mom, and now me. And so, and we had triple negative. My mom didn't have triple negative, but we don't know where that came from and why Black women are getting it. And I know there's probably a gene that we haven't discovered yet. And, you know, like one of the scientists that we work with is Melissa Davis. She's just a badass. She's now at Morehouse School of Medicine. And so she's been doing research in Ghana now for about 10 years in West Africa. And she's now discovered 2 genes that she thinks could be causing triple negative breast cancer, but we don't test for them yet in the States. That's the science that we're trying to get to, you know, but there's so much science. And even little things like, you know, the doctors will say the protocol is now getting a lumpectomy plus radiation is equivalent to a double mastectomy. Well, that study was done in Sweden.
Wow.
So how do we know that it works on Black women? It probably doesn't. And that's why we're getting these crazy mortality and recurrence numbers. So we need this science so much. And the only way we're going to get it is to get more Black women into the research. And so now we're doing something really cool. I'll let Val talk about what she's doing. But so we've been back and forth with pharma, and I feel so blessed that they have opened their arms to us and are supporting our work. And you know, and Sue's seen us, you know, work with even with Genentech, and they're all saying, okay, what can we do different? And so, you know, I'm a marketing person by trade. So I'm all about what are the words, what are the pictures, what does it look like? You know, how are you communicating? Are you being effective? And so they, you know, we started looking at some of the marketing or recruiting materials for these trials, and they're garbage. I mean, they're like, no one can read that stuff. You know, like if you're read, you know, an informed, no one can read that stuff. So like, can we put that in the garbage and start over again? So we're working on now 2 trials with 2 different companies that we can't really talk about yet, but we're almost there. We developed all the marketing materials for the trial. We trained the PIs. We've presented to the PIs several times and said, okay, here's how you talk to Black women. And now, Val, what are you doing, Val?
So this is really exciting, having a community oncology navigator. And I think the beauty of this is that, especially when I was going through cancer, after 5 o'clock, that's when I had all of my questions. And guess what? All the offices would close. But this community oncology navigator is available for those that are on clinical trials. And when they have questions, they can call. And we have a live person that answers the phone. I think there's nothing that infuriates me more than I call and you get this message, and it just drives me crazy. So can you imagine?
If it's an emergency, I hate that. Right?
Yes, I hate it. So we have a live person. I can't pick up the call because I'm talking to another patient. We have a live person that can talk, take the message, and then I can call them right back. But the beauty of this is if they have questions, anxiety, whatever it is, there is a nurse navigator, me, that can walk them through things, talk them through things, get them connected to resources that are in their community that they didn't even know about. And then also to make sure that they're following whatever the regime is, whatever medications they're taking, if they're having side effects, to tell them this needs to be reported, you know, to your research nurse or to your oncologist, and also just walking them through the process so they're understanding what to expect and the need to be compliant. And in anything, any fears that they have, I am looking in their local community to see what's available. Is there a therapist there? Is there a physical therapist? Is there a massage therapist that can help them as they go through this? And we are hoping that by having someone in the community that will help them stay on the trial longer. And also we can then help develop strategies for recruitment. So docs will know this is the buzzwords, this is what you need to say. And then hopefully these people that have gone through the clinical trial, they can also become advocates and encourage
video.
So we're really excited about this, and the more people that we can reach and touch, I think the better things will be for everybody in terms of recruitment and good outcomes, because that's what we're looking for.
Yeah, so she's kind of going to be like a fairy godmother to the trial, to the patient.
Totally.
And so now we're like doing 51 sites. We're doing one trial and we're about to start another one. And you know, we'll kind of build up our resources as Val needs more help and doesn't have to stay up all night. But we really want to provide this service so that people have an outlet, and a Black woman and a Black nurse navigator and a Black breastie to talk about this stuff with. So she can really speak firsthand about the experience and help them understand the informed consent, explain it to their families, and then work with them. So hopefully we'll get more Black women into the trials, and then we'll keep them in the trials. And so, and then we'll basically, you know, we can't go back and directly tell the pharma company about a patient because of HIPAA laws, but we can give them trends. So guess what? After the 5th infusion, everybody got a headache. Or after the 3rd infusion, this is what happened. They had meltdowns or something. And so we can start to even give them more data than they may not be collecting even in the trial with the trial team. So, and more even emotional data that we know people are going through and doesn't always come out in the trial, you know, as they evaluate the trial. So we're really excited to basically, redesign how clinical trials are being done. We hope to
Dr. Kennedy's on with us. Ricki and Valerie, and one of our advisors as well. And it just is so impressive. You hear so much about abandonment too on clinical trials, and you have a live person that you can talk to. That alone is going to give them the faith that they can stay on, and the resources. I know you and I have talked about how does Unite for Her get into this space to have integrative care to help them stay on treatment. That's something we're working on as well. But to have a nurse navigator there, I think it's brilliant. And just needed and easy. And I'm glad you are, just like Dr. Kennedy said, redesigning the space, because it needs to be, it just needs to be front and center. And you guys are doing the work.
And we hope to, you know, expand it as we go. But you know, clearly we're going to offer up Unite for Her as a resource. Call these people. Here's what you do. Want some, you know, here's some recipe here, you know, and really kind of use your platform as a great resource for everybody, you know, and
absolutely.
And I think, Ricki, you said something very key. Even as a navigator, I find that patients know nothing about resources. You know, they come through our hospital and we talk a lot about cancer and we talk about treatments, but we don't talk about resources that can support them. And so that all gets lost. And then when treatment is over, they're like, well, why didn't you tell me about this? So we have to be more strategic in the information that we give people, because it's so much of an overload that they forget all about this. And some of these resources can really help them in terms of them tolerating their chemotherapy better, being able to have conversations with their family members. How do I talk to my children about the disease? All of these kinds of things, but they don't get that opportunity because they don't know the resources are there.
Yeah,
so that's one thing I'm really looking forward to doing.
I just wanted to say something. To be honest, in practice for 40 years, I was it angered me so much that people who could not really understand clinical trials, and I'm not saying, but granted, there are populations who have, you know, they don't trust the clinical trials as much. The way clinical trials have worked for decades is that populations like Black women were not given the means to be part of it. And that is a major problem. So now you're giving them a pathway to be active participants. And I hate to say it, I mean, it angers me that that population of women were sort of like, well, they don't really want to be in clinical trials. They're fearful. They don't trust their families. I mean, it was all these excuses, but they didn't have this type of pathway to get to a clinical trial. So now you're giving them a pathway that they can trust. They feel comfortable. They'll have someone to talk to. I mean, all these things are so important. I mean, it's hard to put any patient on a clinical trial because it's a lot of work, and the patient really has to buy into the concept. But when you have statistics in Black women with breast cancer, particularly triple negative, you have to say to yourself, we have to do better. We have to come up with something that works better. And, as you mentioned in Ghana, I mean, they're looking at, potential mutations that, we don't even understand in triple negative breast cancer for Black women. So it's fabulous that you're going to give women, you have this whole program that you're able to give women a mechanism to get into understanding the potential benefit, because I mean, it's just, they have not been, I mean, if you don't know about it and you don't understand, why would you participate?
Why would you do it? Right. Why
Do you
would
know what I mean? So now if you can understand, not that they would necessarily would change the mind of someone who says, I just don't buy into a clinical trial, just give me standard treatment. But when we know that standard treatment isn't as good as, I mean, we can say, okay, this is standard treatment, this is what we expect, but it won't be as good in the typical Black female with triple negative, particularly under the age of 40. I mean, you have to say to yourself, please, look at other options too.
Yeah.
So I think the mechanism you have is fabulous. I hope that you can continue to get support.
We've been so blessed, and I don't really take no for an answer very well. So I keep asking for stuff and getting, hopefully they'll support us. But I think also, I do feel like our pharma partners are trying to do the right thing. I think they want to do it, they want to embrace it. And they know, and they're finally admitting that they're wrong, that they've not been doing it right. And that's where it starts. It's like, yes, I am an alcoholic before you can even get help, right? So I think they're saying now, we have not been doing this right. At least the ones who have like opened their hearts to us. And I think as we start to show performance and traction around the work, that we'll get more partners to do it with us. And we've got a lot of interest now. And I think people are waiting to see what's going to happen. And we're happy to show it because we know that what we've done so far. And, we've been testing everything we do. We test every video, we test every word. We have this great group of, what we call our breasty choir. And we run stuff by them to get their input to make sure that we're communicating in the most effective way. And so we try to be very, diligent about and intentional about it. And I'll give you an example. And I saw in one thing you put clinicaltrials.gov in the chat, and that's like going to hell ahead with your blindfolded backwards, right? But that's why the portals on our site are breastcancertrials.org, the Triple Negative Breast Cancer Foundation, and NBC Alliance. So there's a little cushion around you when you go into the portal to find stuff that's more tailored to exactly your disease. So we're trying to take some of the pain away from clinicaltrials.gov to get you there. But I think if there's anything we can do to take the pain away, and a lot of it though, we live in this world of health inequity. It just doesn't exist. And I don't think it can exist until everybody in our ecosystem practices the golden rule. What your mother taught you when you were 2 years old. Treat others as you want to be treated. And that's what we tell our patients when they come to us. You go back to your doctor and you say, is that what you would do for your mom or your auntie or your grandma or your daughter? Because if it's not good enough for them, it's not good enough for me. So bring me what you got. And frankly, if you're a Black woman under 40 with triple negative breast cancer, really any stage, a clinical trial is your best option. And I'm not a doctor, but we don't have enough science right now. And that they're going to get the best science you can get. And they should take advantage of that science and live and get another year, another week, another 8 months, whatever it'll give you. If you're metastatic, it's another birthday, it's another wedding, it's another milestone, it's another grandbaby. Take advantage of that science,
And Ricki, we always talk about, well, you can either be on an official trial or unofficial trial. And so what does that mean?
Right.
So when you're on an official trial, all the side effects that you have are recorded. But now after this drug is approved, and I'm African-American, and there were only a few African-Americans that were on the trial, I take the medication, I may have some funky side effect, which did happen to me. And all the docs can say is, Well, I don't know if that's really more prevalent, this side effect in African-American women, because it wasn't enough on the clinical trial. So unofficially, we are on a trial, except none of this gets to be recorded. And so either way, we're going to be on a trial if we don't get enough African-American people on a trial that we can record everything. And to me, that's frightening. So sometimes we have to share that with people so they can understand that we really do need this representation at the front end so that everything is absolutely recorded. Maybe that particular drug is not for us, but we don't know that because we don't have enough representation. So that matters.
Oh yeah, I mean, TAC didn't work for me. My cancer came back, you know. So we have another quick video. It's like a minute. I'll show it real quick. This is one of our favorite ones, but we have so many. So go to the site. But it's our good friend, Breasty Karen Peterson. And she actually has an organization in Harlem where she helps women get into trials, but we love her so much. We love this so much.
Yeah.
See.
I am a stage 4 triple negative breast cancer survivor. I was one of the first people in the nation to join the trial that I did. To be able to participate in that was huge. It saved my life. The drug hasn't reached the market yet, but I'm alive. Without participating, we don't know the true efficacy. We have to participate. Research is moving forward. We don't want to be left behind.
So yeah, we have many more. They're all on the site. Take a look. But we just want to keep the message going, and we're now doing a train the trainer program. So Haley and Emily have been working away at putting together a toolkit so we can basically hand it over to pastors. And we just did it with a pastor in DC this week, and hand it over to anybody, any partners of ours who want to do it. We work a lot with Know Your Lemons, and really we're actually hosting a meeting next week. And actually, how long is that? Like 10 days away. We're calling it Highway, and we're bringing together 50 small Black-led grassroots breast cancer organizations from all over the country coming together just to educate them. Because as survivors, we all say, get the double mastectomy, take this drug, and we don't know what we're talking about, play a doctor TV, right? So how can we make everybody have the best information, the latest science, and then how can we work together and collaborate better so that when we have stuff like this, like nobody should talk about clinical trials, use our stuff. It's not worth reinventing the wheel. So we're putting together this learning module so people can take it and have access to the materials. They're free, and take the videos and use them in your churches, in your community center, at your Delta Sigma Theta meeting, at your AKA meeting, or wherever you are, to get this message across. So,
and I think it's all about access. So when I think about people in the community, maybe the most knowledgeable person might be the CNA that works at the nursing home. So when someone gets diagnosed with cancer, they may ask the CNA, who doesn't know anything about, but she's the most credible person in that community. So sometimes people have to talk to 7 different people before they get anything that's credible. But by bringing these groups together, we can get this information, credible information, out in our community, so people aren't afraid to get a simple mammogram, and they know where to get the mammogram, and even how to do self breast exams, because we know that a lot of our ladies find their own spots everywhere. Yeah.
80% of them find their own cancer.
Right. So we need to help them with self breast exams. And so getting information that's credible out to our community is very important. And I think, 10 days from now, we're going to educate a group of women who can then educate their communities. And then when people are asked about what they want to do with their health, they can have informed conversations with their providers. And that's all we want people to do, is be informed and give good information and not scary information to their family and friends. So Ricki, I'm really excited about 10 days from now, what we're going to do.
We're going to have this action-packed weekend. We rented a big Airbnb in DC, and we have we have like 20 docs that are going to zoom in and just give us like 30-minute sound bites of what's the latest stuff that we need to know about every area, from neuropathy, lymphedema, surgery, plastic surgery. We have all the things, and we probably had enough content to do another whole day of it. So it's sort of going to be the beginning of this sort of continuing education thing. It's kind of like the Black version of Project Lead, maybe on steroids. So we're hoping, so basically everybody feels equipped to be able to coach and do all the things that you do every day, Sue. You know, we coach these women and hope that, or tell them the right thing. God help us, right?
I know. We're doing the train the trainer. I have Haley all set up, and she has Unite First team doing that. And what I love, tell your marketing background, because what is going to speak are those like little PSA videos. They are phenomenal, and they're going to work in a way that I think is going to just change the way that people are thinking about clinical trials. And the more you get out there, every network should be showing them, especially during the months that we have coming up, September, October, and where everyone's so hyper aware. And I'm hoping that you're going to get a lot of marketing and PR firms that are going to launch those. They're incredible. I put them in the chat for everybody so that they can see it. Yeah.
Thanks. Yeah, I know our ad agency for Giovanna calls them snackables, because we tried to make them we try to make them, we have the longer ones, which are like 3.5 minutes, but then some of them are like
30 seconds.
30 seconds, a minute long, so you can put them on your Instagram and
absolutely TikTok.
And TikTok. Yeah, I know. We have we've had these amazing interns, and we had 4 this summer that all they did was make TikTok videos. Now, I need to sign on to TikTok, and I don't know that I want to sign on to TikTok.
Nope, I have not either yet. Not my staff has, but I haven't. I'm like, okay, you guys take it. You take it.
I am not the target audience for that. I'm too old, but so many people are telling me that, wow, the TikToks are really good. So God only knows what's on there, but they're
good. There's a lot of good messaging out there, and I can see your work there sliding right into that space so beautifully. And please take a look if you haven't gone there. We have this recorded, so we'll be sending it out to our whole network as well. But all of those snippets, I love that you haven't just done 1, 2, you have, I don't know how many videos you guys have done now.
A lot. We did a lot of videos, and then we cut them up in pieces. And I didn't even show you our latest book, For the Love of My Girls. Haley and Emily kind of took on the passion of, I work for Haley now. She just turned.
I love it.
Well, we all work for Haley, right?
Yeah, I think so.
She's amazing, just like her mother.
We all work for Haley, but she really wanted to talk to young women. And so she said, if Black breast cancer is a thing, then Black breast health is a thing. And so she wanted to take the pain and the fear away from it. So can we show this video real quick? I'll show.
Absolutely. Yeah.
I love it.
Her work, and really just being able to talk to young women in a way that makes them own Black breast health as a thing they need to be leery of. So
we loved partnering with you, because we had this audience of, kids age 8 to 18 at the Pink Regional. And, people talk about their periods in 6th grade. Why are they not talking about breast health?
Exactly.
Oh, yes, absolutely.
And it is something that we are going to just lean right in there with you and make sure that our community is knowing, the love of my girls.
Yeah.
It's a great campaign. I love it.
Girl. For the love of my girls.
Black women under 35 get breast cancer at 2 times the rate of white women.
And die at 3 times the rate.
It's up to us to take care of our girls.
The only solution is conversation.
I choose Black breast health because protecting my girls means protecting all Black girls.
I unlock my her story by talking with my family about our shared health history to know my personal risk.
I get to know my girls as an act of self-care. Are you ready to get in touch with your girls? Visit
loveofmygirls.org to get in touch with your girls.
Love it.
Amazing. Love it. Love it. Love it.
We have a great
vibe, right?
Yeah, we have a great toolkit for young women too, so they can have these conversations with both grandmothers on both sides of the family and learn about her stories. And then check your breast when you get your nails done. Check your breast
Love
when
it.
you do your hairdo. Like, so make it part, so it's not scary. It's not about cancer. It's about health. So
Yeah.
I just want to make a statement real quick. Sorry, you ladies can't see me. I'm under the weather. It's Tiffany.
Yeah. Hi,
But I had a conversation with Haley. She is definitely her mother's child. I had a conversation with her.
Tiffany
at
is
the
one
Pink-
of our ambassadors, Ricki. And yeah.
I had a conversation with her at the Pink Invitational. And a lot of women that are her age, I have a lot of them in my family, like you, Ricki. Wasn't hereditary, but my mother's youngest sister had breast cancer 2 years before me, and her daughter had it a year before me, and then I had it. But then on my on my father's side, my grandmother had it, but there was no genetic testing. There was no genetic connection. And I send Haley stuff out all the time to them.
Yeah.
But the conversation that I had with a young woman, if I had my eyes closed, I would assume I was talking to somebody older. That's why I said she is her mother's child. That's why I said to you at the Triple Negative Breast Cancer Foundation, whatever juice it is you got in you that you pass on to her, she has fire. She definitely has fire. And I appreciate everything, for somebody like myself who lost a friend to triple negative breast cancer. I used to volunteer for Susan G. Komen for many years. And what I knew about triple negative is you die. And being a part of Unite for Her and learning about When We Trial and Touch BBCA and Dr. Mo and triple negative, I learned all these things that it doesn't have to be a death sentence and all the things that we have to do. I actually changed my capstone from nursing homes to breast cancer, which was a lot to do, but I wanted to find out what Black women knew about clinical trials and what they understood about triple negative, if they even knew what it was, because I had friends that had breast cancer 20 years ago, and they was like, what is triple negative? What are you even talking about? They just thought it was breast cancer. And so to watch you and Valerie, I follow you guys all the time. I'm always on social media. I'm not a social media, I don't know all the ins and outs like you and Sue said, but I follow you guys all the time and everything that you're doing. I just wish my girlfriend, I know she's looking down and seeing all the work that you guys are doing, because she died at her 5th year. And it was a shock because she was so positive that you didn't think she was going to die. And so all the things that are being done and all of what you guys are doing means so much to somebody like me, who's seeing someone like me fight and be out there in the trenches and going from state to state to state. I've watched all the videos that you guys put out there because I send them to people, whether they got breast cancer or not, because unfortunately, 1 in 8 women are going to get diagnosed with breast cancer, unfortunately. And so I send it out to everybody for them to watch and everything. And I just wanted to make it a comment that I appreciate all the work that you guys are doing. It means so much for just little old me and my family.
Thank you so much.
Tiffany, you're not a little old you. First of all, you're dynamic and have been such a good voice for our community. And I'm hoping Haley's going to watch this recording so she could just feel a little bit of the love that you just shot her way.
Haley, let me tell you how special Haley is. We were at the gala for the Triple Negative Breast Cancer Foundation. I was still recovering from my hysterectomy, so I couldn't do much. But she's a ball of energy. And I said, oh, I like your earrings. And she literally took them off her ears and gave them to me.
Are they these beautiful things that I have?
Yes, they are.
Yeah.
And she usually wears her Love of My Girls earrings. And so.
Yeah. Well, Sarah was asking in the chat if you two ladies will be in Philadelphia anytime soon. I think, you got to go on the road for sure. I know you're on the road, but like BBC, PBS, right? Like all the big talk shows, the Today Show,
I know.
Oh, come on, Yeah, coming.
I know. Well, Mo's doing an event, I guess, in September, but
yes.
We're so crazy. I kind of say the breast cancer season starts about now. Like by September,
Yeah, for
Labor
sure.
Day, and it goes to SABCS, right? It goes from like
Absolutely.
December. So we're gonna be all over the place, but look at our schedule. I know the next big thing that we're doing, I guess we're doing Martha's Vineyard next week on the 10th. And then we're doing a briefing at Congressional Black Caucus in DC, which isn't too far away from Philly, on the 21st of September, which will be really cool, talking about TNBC. And
then the 23rd of September is Dr. Mo's still running a retreat, which is right outside of Philadelphia, Sarah. So that's a great retreat for women, all stages, all timing, a lot of good, a lot of good discussions, and providers will be there in the wellness space. Ricki, I don't know if you and your team will be able to make that one or not, but
yeah, we're going to try. Somebody will be there. We're going to give it a shot. But I mean, also, if you have an event that, you have a gathering of women and you want us to come, well, at least if we can't be there personally, we'll send you materials. We'll send you our cool swag. Haley swag with really cool swag. We'll send you some swag, some cool bags, and some materials. Our little forms to help you fill out your her story. So we're happy to send stuff or Zoom in or whatever if we can't make it physically. But we try to go where people ask us. So
yeah, love it. Love it. Well, listen, I put a lot of links in the chat. I corrected that one, which is most grateful that we got your clinical trials page, which makes it so much easier to navigate. We have all your videos up there for the gallery, and then just the main page to get all of your facts. And you guys are the best. Do we have any other questions for our friends here from Touch? It was so empowering, just incredible, the work that you're doing. And I'm always leaving smiling when I talk to both of you.
Thank you.
Love you
Love
so
it.
much.
Yeah, you're a force. And I will make sure I'm going to try for the 21st and the 22nd. And
Yeah, it's gonna be really cool.
Yeah. Great.
the collaborations are incredible. And I am so glad that pharma is listening.
Thank you, God. We're so
Yeah.
blessed.
Thank you, God. And you just keep doing what you're doing. It's just been incredible. Yeah. Thank you, Patrice. It was an informative session for sure.
Thank you for listening.
Thank you.
You got it. Any last words you want to leave us with, ladies?
Just, find your purpose and check your breasts. And I know, I made a lot of crazy changes when I got breast cancer. So I realized that my piece is non-negotiable. And I looked around and I said, all right, there's some other cancers in my life I have to get rid of. And if people weren't bringing me joy, I just let them go a little bit. You don't have to they had to go. The cancers had to go. So just find your peace, because I know stress is a big factor. And
it is. I know, Dr. Mo, the Still Rise Pharma retreat, the tagline is remembering your first love, you.
Yeah. That's right.
Right.
Put that mask on yourself first. And
that's right.
And talk to your families, make people talk to each other, make the conversation, the family reunion conversation, because we just don't know what all these connections could be,
Yeah. Ricki, did you see what Dr. Kennedy put in the chat? She talked about the novel clinical trials, very active at Penn. I don't know if you saw that.
Yes.
I don't know if you were familiar with.
Yeah, we know we work with Laura Esserman, and we look with Dr. Lola Bayanju. She's on our medical advisory board.
Oh, good. Yeah. Those I-SPY trials get into very specifics. Yeah, they're excellent.
Yeah, they're right. Yeah, and Dr. Sarah Horton also is on our medical advisory board, and so he, works with Dr. Laura too. So
Laura Esserman's wonderful. Great, beautiful.
I can feel it. I can feel all the collaborations happening. People are listening. I know, just us at Unite for Her are making movement for people to share how important it is to get our program in the hands of people who are on clinical trials so they can adhere to treatment and stay on the trial. And we pay for it. So it's a no-brainer, right?
No-brainer. So why not influence? All the time. We send people all the time because they need it. And we get so many calls for food.
I was just going to say that, Ricki, we had women saying, I had to choose between transportation to my chemotherapy or putting food on the table. So I was starving in order to get to treatment. And then Unite for Her came, and now all of a sudden I'm getting 6 weeks of vegetables sent to the house.
Oh my
$75 gift cards. This is adherence to treatment. As simple
Yes,
as
it is.
food may seem, it is adherence to treatment, and they won't abandon it. So I can just see us all collaborating in such a beautiful way.
Yeah,
We're
because
leading
all of
the
our clinical
force.
trial patients are going to know about you, and you
Yeah.
know, like if you need help, here's your first resource.
Yeah, love it. Love it. Well, thank you both. You took
Thank
time. I know how
you.
busy your schedule is. We are so grateful and just sending a lot of love to you. You know
Mhm.
why now, everybody joining us, that they are our 2024 Community Award winners for this year. So thank you. And hi, Kai. So Sarah asked, is there a number and information? Would love to talk to them. I'm so happy I was on. Sarah, I am so happy you were too.
Yeah.
They can go to your website, right?
Yeah, and I'll put my email here.
Awesome. Thank you. Thank you, Ricki. Terrific.
This is awesome.
Well, we are in touch all the time. So please reach out and let us know if there's anything more that you want to ask these dynamic women about when we trial. I'm excited to see what year 2 is going to bring. Look at everything you've done in year 1, right? So extraordinary.
We're going to figure out that number. I mean, that's
I know.
I want to know.
You know who's going to figure that out for you? ChatGPT, AI. AI is going to figure that out.
Of course, yes.
I know.
I've been sending you some information. I keep sending it.
I
for you
saw
to
that.
listen, like just listen to it, and it really is extraordinary that it's just making it a lot easier for us to know the science a little quicker, so much quicker.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
In school,
Well, thank you, everybody. Thank you for joining us. You guys have a wonderful. Yes, breasty love for sure.
And watch our show on Wednesdays, Dr. And Haley's Pink Table Talk.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
You
Can
know,
you
so
put
you
that in
sign
the
up
chat for me, Ricki?
Yeah, I'm actually, if you sign up for info at Touch, we'll put you on our mailing list, and then you'll get our show stuff.
Yeah. Well, thank you all, our Unite for Our Community, for joining us tonight. Again, we have to thank our sponsors. We can't do it without them. So our pre-screen sponsor, West Pharmaceuticals, support by Daiichi Sankyo, Lilly, Merck, and GSK. Like Ricki said, we love that they hear our voices and support our work, and we're all working together, and that is new and different, I think, than what has happened in the past, 10, 20 years ago. So we are moving forward. Again, keep in mind what we have coming up in August. On August the 17th, it's our second speaker series, and we're going to be joined with Kinetic PT for Cancer and Physical Therapy, a balancing act. Their team is going to discuss the aspects of cancer and its treatments, and how to make sure that a patient can feel just more steady and have strategies for improving that balance and reduce that fall risk. All of the details are going to be at uniteforher.org/speaker series. You all know that. And of course, this recording, as well as everything that we do, is on the Her Library. So again, thank you, Valerie, Ricki, so much love for the both of you. And thank you for joining us this evening.